Running Back Nation is in the building. Firas Jandali, HRM the Great, James Al Go.
Yeah. Running Back Nation, what is good? Yeah. What's good, everybody? Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out. It is Monday, April 28th. 2025, and I am here to talk to you about all of the things that happened in the NBA playoffs last night. The Pistons falling to the New York Knicks in thrilling fashion once again. Tobias Harris showing more emotion than I've ever seen him show in a basketball game. But ultimately turning into Tobias Harris in the fourth quarter, as is the usual. We'll talk about, did the Detroit Pistons get robbed on the final play that was not called a foul that the NBA apparently after the game admitted was a foul. We'll talk about the Celtics Magic game and why I believe this series is showing that the Boston Celtics can be beat. It has nothing to do with the Orlando Magic, really. But that series should be a 4-0 sweep. And I'm seeing a little bit of softness from the Boston Celtics. And if the way these NBA playoffs are being played has told us anything, it is that toughness is going to prevail. And of course, I think the Celtics make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I am picking the Cleveland Cavaliers as I have. And Damian Lillard is feared to have torn his Achilles. Bucks fans, I feel so bad for you. Welcome to misery. That is me and the rest of 76ers fans. Welcome to the island of misery. For Sixers fans, we do have a quote by Brian Windhorst on ESPN about Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse, and so I may cover that at the end of this stream. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button for me one time. These episodes are brought to you by Game Time Ticket App. Use Game Time Ticket App to get all of your concert tickets, sporting event tickets, all the tickets. Get them at Game Time Ticket App, the app where tickets get cheaper the closer to the event, and they filter out the best deals for you so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Ticket App. Use promo code CLNS for $20 off. It's also brought to you by Mando Full Body Deodorant. Stop stinking up the joint. Use use the code SICKOS in all caps, SICKOS, to get $5 off your starter kit on Mando. That is about 40% off of your starter kit. And get the Sickos merch at runningbackphillyshop.com. Let's go. Who's in the chat, man? Rollin24. We're going to need Joel to get on the court and throw hands. I don't know what that means. Oh, Joe? We're going to need Joe to get on the court and throw hands? Joe Mazzola? Okay. They got paid by Wall Street's Refs did the same to us last season versus the Knicks. They got paid by Wall Streets. Yeah, I don't know. Tobias got bullied under the rim by Hart towards the end. He absolutely did. Dave Pingatore, thank you for being a member of the channel. What's good? Shout out to RJ, member of the channel. Also, Rookie Rook, what's up? James Zhao, what's going on? HRM, great. Firas Jandali, I hope I said your name right. Pistons robbed. We're going to talk about it, man. First, we got to go to my playoff bracket and give an update, okay? Denver tied 2-2 with the Los Angeles Clippers. Is that game tonight? That's going to be a doozy. I might have to live stream that even though it's a 10 o'clock or no, that's not tonight. Damn. That's not tonight. That's going to be Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. I might have to live stream that one. Lakers down 3-1 to the Timberwolves. I don't know why in the world I picked the Lakers to go to the Western Conference Finals after I talked all the shit I talked about the Lakers after the Luka trade. I should have stuck with my gut instinct, and that was they traded defense for offense. And that's why they're losing that series to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They traded toughness. Well, they didn't really trade tough. They traded Anthony Davis, who's hurt all the time. But they don't have enough defense. They don't have enough size and physicality. They don't have enough toughness to overcome. I thought they could beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was underrating Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Rockets are not going to beat Golden State. I'm an idiot for that one. I don't know why I thought the Rockets would have enough offensive firepower to beat the Golden State Warriors in the first round. I thought their defense could slow down Steph Curry, but you still need to score the basketball, and they're the only player that they can really rely on outside of Şengün and Van Vliet is Jalen Green, and he is the Michael Jordan of Tobias Harris's. 38 points one night, 9 points the next night. You never know what you're going to get. Cleveland over Miami. Easy money. Cleveland, did they sweep or are they up 3-0? They're up 3-0. I know there's a Tyler Hero quote where he said, "Don't let us get one." Ooh. Cue the LeBron James internet meme. Oh no, I'm shaking in my boots, Tyler Hero. You're not getting one. The Cavs are sweeping you. Indiana, Milwaukee. Milwaukee was already out as far as I'm concerned. They don't have enough. Indiana's too deep. And to, just experience together, well-oiled machine type. And Damian Lillard apparently is feared to have torn his Achilles last night. So the Milwaukee Bucks are done. Knicks, Pistons. Yeah, we're losing that one, man. Pistons, again, had a chance to steal a game. Second game in a row. That was just a close call. One bounce of the ball here or there could have changed the outcome, but at the end of the day, the better team in a 7-game series wins the series. The New York Knicks have much more skill at every position than the Detroit Pistons do. They have more options. They're just flat out deeper, and Detroit falls again. They're now down 3-1. I don't know if I'm totally out yet. To come back from down 3-1 is a very small chance. What's the percentage? Like less than 5% of NBA teams come back after being down 3-1. But if there's one team that could blow a 3-1 lead, it is the New York Knicks. Let's not erase the last 50 years of history. If the Knicks turn back into the New York Knicks of old, they could blow a 3-1 lead, but I probably don't see that happening. And then Celtics over Magic. Magic are putting up a good fight. The Celtics are crying about the physicality, which I think is funny, but the Magic don't have enough at the end of the day to compete with the Boston Celtics. The fact that they even stole one game is a miracle, and I think that their physicality bothering the Boston Celtics and even stealing one game says more about the Boston Celtics' ability to be beaten in these playoffs more than it says anything about the Orlando Magic. The refs were letting them play. Josh Hart fouled first and it wasn't called, so it was even. Okay, Jay Sniper, Knicks fan in the chat. Pistons are tough/dirty is because they don't have enough talent to win with skill. I wouldn't say dirty. I don't really know what you mean by that. What have they done that was dirty in this series? I miss Timothy John. Looked incredible for the Pacers last night. Timothy John. I don't know who that is. Lakers were never going to win with no center, let alone defense. True. Richie MC, what's up, man? May 12th NBA lottery drawing. Knicks gifted another series. LOL, sad. Yeah, let's talk about it, man. Knicks over Pistons. Of course, me being the biggest Knicks hater in the world, I was rooting for the Detroit Pistons to win this series. Last night showed again that they just don't have enough, man. Cade Cunningham is running the entire show. And 25, 10, and 10. Cade Cunningham is amazing at just 23 years old. What he's doing in the NBA playoffs, leading a team that was like the year before, like 14-90. Cade Cunningham completely transformed this Detroit Pistons basketball team at such a young age, and to be in the playoffs and to be playing with the level of confidence that he's playing with and the level of just like veteran mindset at such a young age. There's the play where Ron Holland gets up and wants to go fight Karl Anthony-Towns, and Cade Cunningham shoves him away like a big brother, who has his best interests in mind. Cade Cunningham is not playing like a 23-year-old. And I want to say, I think that the Detroit Pistons have an amazing young core to build around for the future. And the fact that they've put up a fight in this playoff series the way that they have is admirable. And Pistons fans, I am absolutely jealous of you because you have a young, fun team. Your leader is 23 years old, which means you got the next 10 plus years of playoff basketball to look forward to. You have these players growing together and developing you just got a lot to look forward to. The Pistons fans in that arena were amazing during these games. I'm not saying it's over, by the way. It's probably over, but I'm not saying it's over. But I'm just saying I'm happy for Detroit Pistons fans after not being relevant since the early 2000s. And Cade Cunningham has been nothing short of amazing in this series. And when you really look at it, who do they have outside of Cade Cunningham? Again, Tobias Harris. People are like, Tobias Harris, is playing so well in Detroit because he doesn't have to be a second option. Yes, he does. Yes, he actually does. When you really look at it, the Detroit Pistons are losing because Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris. And I know he's showing some toughness and some grit and some things that he didn't show when he was in Philly. He looks a lot more passionate about the game. He's scrapping. He's talking trash. I never saw him talk trash once in my life in a 76ers uniform. But he's still Tobias Harris. And when Tobias Harris is your second leading scorer, you're done for. He's not a number two. He can't do it. Look, Tobias Harris again last night, 18 points. What did he do in the big fourth Q? Goose egg. Back to life, back to reality. You can't do it. 0 points, a -9 in the fourth quarter, and you lose. If Tobias Harris gives you a single fucking basket in the fourth quarter, you win the game. Can't do it. Jalen Brunson, of course, again, was clutch as hell. He has just been doing this. I mean, really, the whole past 3 years he's been with New York. He is the clutchest player in the NBA. I give him credit for that all the time. Look at Jalen Brunson. I don't even have to. My thing froze. Look at Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter, bro. This is what? 15 points on 7 for 11, 63% from the field, 68 true shooting percentage, and a +11. I got to give credit to Jalen Brunson once again. His third game in a row, actually, that he's done it, or third game in third of the last 3 of the last 4 games, whatever I'm trying to say. Jalen Brunson was incredible again down the stretch, and he did it again, and the Detroit Pistons have no answer for him. And somebody on NBA, I was listening to NBA radio this morning, and they were talking about that final shot by Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, the 94-93, he gets exactly what he wants on the final possession. One dribble to his left, one-on-one matchup, wide open mid-range jump shot. Could have been a game winner, just missed it. Jalen Brunson doesn't miss that shot. And Cade Cunningham's 23 years old. Jalen Brunson's 29. This is what, this is why you say NBA player prime is 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Except for Joel Embiid. His prime was when he was 25 because he's aging in dog years. Jalen Brunson is in his prime. Jalen Brunson is incredibly clutch, and this is what he does. Cade Cunningham missed a potential game winner. I also want to shout out Karl Anthony-Towns. I have, I say what I say about Karl Anthony-Towns, about his, sometimes he disappears, sometimes physicality gets under his skin, sometimes he shies away from the physicality of the game and comes off as soft. I thought he was very physical in this game. I thought he didn't back down from hard fouls, and the referees were pretty much letting everybody play football out there this entire game. And Karl Anthony-Towns in the fourth quarter also incredibly clutch. 8 points in the fourth, a +8, 3 for 5 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, 2 massive 3-pointers in crunch time for Karl Anthony-Towns. Well, two massive shots in crunch time for Karl Anthony-Towns. The one on the baseline, the shimmy fadeaway with the hand in his face over Jalen Duren, who was, again, playing football on him the whole second half. Just did not back down, did not shy away, and to hit that shot with the hand in his face was massive. And then he has like a 30-footer from like the right side top of the key in traffic. I mean, that shot was unbelievable. So the New York Knicks have 2 stars. Detroit Pistons have 1 star who's only 23 years old. At the end of the day, the New York Knicks are going to win the series because of that alone. It is what it is. Detroit fans, though, I'm happy for you, and I'm jealous of you. And now let's talk about the foul on the final play. Wait, here's Tobias Harris talking trash. I forgot about this. Never seen him do this in Philly. He goes right up to Karl Anthony-Towns and says, and what? And what? Then you what? Then you what? I don't know what they were talking about, but yeah, I mean, Tobias Harris does. Since when, bro? Since when? Thank you, what? And then he went on to give the Detroit Pistons a very Tobias Harris goose egg in the fourth quarter. And, but yeah. Here's the foul at the end of the play. Now, here's my thought on the foul. Okay, everybody's, the Pistons were robbed. The referees rigged it for the Knicks. The NBA wants the Knicks to win. I don't know how that makes any sense when they haven't won in 50 years. You think the NBA would, help the Knicks win sometime in the past 50 years. But yeah, it's technically a foul. I get it. Hardaway pump fakes. He gets Josh Hart to bite on it, and all of the Jalen Brunson lean-in fouls that were called in this series, this should be called a foul. I agree with that, but I'm not like putting everything on that play, right? The Detroit Pistons were up by 11 points in the fourth quarter. They should have won the game. They didn't win the game. Karl Anthony-Towns and Jalen Brunson led the New York Knicks back. The Detroit Pistons couldn't answer. They had nothing in crunch time. Cade misses a wide open game winner. Tobias Harris gives you a goose egg in the fourth quarter. Again, when Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dennis Schroeder are 2 of your biggest, your highest scorers on a team, you're going to lose. So this play didn't decide the game. I know Detroit wanted the call, and Hardaway would have hit the shots, and they would have won the game. I still think they're done. I don't think they win the series. But I also want to say this. Officials are human, right? And I really like the way the NBA officials have been officiating these playoffs. I really like the way the officials officiated this game. They allowed a lot of marginal contact, right? Whereas, like, if an offensive player, not this play specifically, I'm talking about the rest of the game, if a player attacks the rim with his head down, a specific play is Karl Anthony-Towns driving on Jalen Duren with his head down. Jalen Duren's in good position, right? A lot of contact, no call, and Knicks fans are mad, and Karl Anthony-Towns yelling at the officials, but they're allowing a lot of marginal contact. Whereas when the offensive player is making a move and the defender is in good position, there's incidental contact by this guy's playing hard and this guy's playing hard. I love that. I think the NBA should be officiated like that all the time. That's really how FIBA basketball is officiated, right? So what I think is that officials are human. They got used to the way that they were calling this game, especially the fourth quarter. I mean, it was a damn knockdown, drag-out boxing match, basically. And so on the final play, I like the fact that the officials don't want to end the game on a foul call. They don't want the game to end on a blown whistle. That's what I'm used to. Growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s NBA, when it got down to fourth quarter crunch time, you had to put the ball in the hoop. They allowed so much contact at the end because they didn't want a questionable call to decide a game. Now, upon replay and final review and everything, this is not a questionable call. This is a foul. Yes, you're right. It's a foul. But I think the referees calling the game the way that they called it, they get into a zone where they're allowing a little bit more marginal contact. It makes sense that they didn't blow the whistle right there. It does make sense when you watch the whole game. It makes sense that they didn't blow the whistle right there. It's how they were calling basically the whole game. I also think it's sad to say this, but Tim Hardaway Jr. should have sold it a little better. You know, the hesitation and then the kind of jump sideways. If he goes a little more straight up and the ball never even makes it out of his hands, it looks like a tackle, and they probably call it. They should have called it, yes. I understand why Detroit Pistons fans are mad that they didn't call it, but it's how the whole game was officiated, and I don't think that play determined the outcome of the entire game. I think if they called it, the Pistons probably win the game, but I think they lose the series anyway. So my take on it probably isn't what Knicks fans were expecting me to say. They were probably expecting me to come up here and rant and rave about how the NBA is rigged and the Knicks should have lost. I like the game, the way that game was officiated. It was a ton of fun to watch. The better team won the game. The team with more experience and more star power won the game. The game isn't decided on that final buzzer beater shot. And realistically, Tobias Harris got beat by Josh Hart on the rebound. And Cade Cunningham missed a wide open game winner. It is what it is. That's how I feel about it. If Jaden Ivey wasn't hurt, they would beat the Knicks. I think he's better than Cunningham. That dude cooked us earlier this season. Well, he's not better than Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's giving you 30-point triple-doubles. This is a player who's playing point guard at 23 years old, who is controlling the entire game and has changed the Detroit Pistons damn near single-handedly. So I disagree with he's better than Cunningham, but Jaden Ivey was giving us buckets earlier in the year. And yeah, if the Detroit Pistons had Jaden Ivey, that's a second scoring option that would help them out a lot. And they wouldn't be relying on Tobias Harris to give them something in the fourth quarter when he's definitely most likely going to give you 0 when it matters the most. But yeah, I mean, the Detroit Pistons playing without Jaden Ivey is a big blow, and they have a ton to look forward to. But there's my take on that foul, I guess I will say. Last year's 76ers team did better against the Knicks than these fraudulent bad boys. Well, the 76ers had Joel Embiid healthy, or at least off of knee surgery, and 80% healthy, and had 30, 10, and 6. They had Tyrese Maxey averaging about 30 points per game in the series and took one game single-handedly by himself with a 47-point performance and a half-court buzzer beater to send it to overtime. Yeah, I mean, the 76ers had 2 stars on the floor. Again, the Detroit Pistons have 1 star on the floor. Brunson flops and Josh Hart over back non-calls, typical Knicks playoff series. Josh Hart got grabbed, pulled, and pushed out of bounds before that. Hart went straight up and Hardaway tried to bump him. Well, that's just not true. Knicks fans, I'm saying I don't think them not calling that is as insane as Detroit Pistons fans are making it seem. And I like the way that they officiated the whole game, but if you're going to sit here and say Josh Hart went straight up, that's just flat out not true. I mean, you saw the play. Damian Lillard is cooked and Glenn Rivers is cooked. Do you think Doc Rivers gets fired, man? It's interesting. It's interesting to think about because of all of the Damian Lillard injuries. But when you trade for a 34-year-old player, these are the things that happens. And the Sixers learned this the hard way, except they signed him to a max contract until 2028, like a bunch of R words. But anyway, Celtics Magic. Celtics Magic, pretty much same story, man. The Orlando Magic don't have enough. The Boston Celtics have way too many weapons. Very physical series, very physical game yesterday. I think it's fun that the Boston Celtics are crying about physicality. You know, Jason Tatum got the wrist injury a couple of games ago on what I thought was a pretty normal foul call. There was a really hard foul yesterday by Anthony Black on Jason Tatum where he just hacked down on both of his arms that they reviewed, and they said it's a common foul. There was a play, not sure if it was in the Orlando game. It wasn't the Orlando game. It was on, it was a foul by Wendell Carter Jr. on a Jason Tatum drive or a Jalen Brown drive. I don't remember. Derek White drive, actually, I think it was, where he lowered his shoulder, kind of threw him a little forearm and knocked him out of bounds. The officials reviewed it. And all the broadcasters and everybody were like, they might call this a flagrant foul. I hope that they don't, because this is playoff basketball. And in super slow-mo, they even saw the extension of the arm and still called it a common foul. I love that. You know, we, as basketball fans right now, we can make a compilation of plays from these playoffs. And we can go at all the old heads that claim the game isn't physical anymore. Nobody plays any defense. You're not allowed to touch anybody. And they say this because they stopped watching basketball after Michael Jordan retired. We can make a compilation of these playoffs, and we can battle the old heads and show them that the NBA is still physical and you're still allowed to foul people. You know, so I love the way that it's being officiated. I think it's funny that the Boston Celtics are crying about the physicality, and it's showing to me a little bit of mental weakness by the Boston Celtics that could come back to bite them in the Eastern Conference Finals, probably against the Cleveland Cavaliers, if they even make it out of the second round against the Indiana Pacers. About the Orlando Magic, I want to say this. It's a one-man show, much like the Detroit Pistons. Paolo gave you 31. He was struggling down the stretch because he was trying to do too much because nobody else could do anything. When you got Corey Joseph starting in the playoffs, what are we really talking about? You know what I mean? Who didn't have a bad game, by the way, 12, 3, and 6 on 62% from the field and a +7. Franz Wagner gave you a lot of buckets, right? A lot of tough shots. But this guy's a 29% three-point shooter. He was 2 for 7 in this game. Paolo's a 31% three-point shooter. Going against the Boston Celtics, you're just not going to win when your top two guys are bad three-point shooters, because this is a team that shoots 53s a game and has 7 really good three-point shooters on the team. You know what I mean? Franz being your number 2 next to Paolo, when Paolo's already a 31% three-point shooter, Franz being an even worse three-point shooter really comes back to bite you, and it really killed them in the fourth quarter. It got to the point where Kristaps Porzingis was guarding Franz Wagner like he was Ben Simmons or Russell Westbrook. He was just standing 4 feet back, daring him to shoot it. And I thought Franz Wagner was a sniper, because every time the Sixers play him, he lights it up like he's damn Hedo Turkoglu in his prime. Shout out to Hedo Turkoglu, former Orlando Magic player. Franz Wagner can't shoot, and it's tough when you have 2 guys trying to drag the team to victory, and all you got to do is force them to shoot threes, and you're playing the percentages, and that is what it is. Here's a quote by Jalen Brown speaking of the Boston Celtics complaining about physicality. There might be a fight breakout or something. And I thought this was a fake page at first. I thought this was Lagan Hoops, right? Or NBA Centel. There might be a fight breakout or something, because it's starting to feel like it's not even basketball and the refs are not controlling their environment. If you want to fight it out, we can do that. We can fight to see who goes to the second round. And I kind of agree that the Orlando Magic are playing extra physical because they have to. They don't have the talent to match up with the Boston Celtics. But what do Celtics really think they're going to do? You think they're going to come out there and just roll over and die? No, they're going to try to get in your head. They're going to try to foul you. They're going to try to rough you up. They're going to try to get under your skin and take you off your game. What do you expect? Of course they're playing like that. You guys need to be tough enough to weather the storm and tough enough to fight through it. And I think that even mentioning it, even crying about it a little bit, it's starting to feel like it's not even basketball and the refs aren't controlling their environment. Even crying about it like this in a post game shows a little bit of mental weakness, if you ask me. And maybe my hate for the Boston Celtics is controlling my narrative, probably. But I think this type of attitude right here could come back to bite the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, if they even make it past the Pacers. That's what I think. DJ, please react to your live stream where you said the Sixers are contenders. Wow. I will not do that. I said that because in the moment I thought the 76ers were contenders by adding Paul George. That was with the assumption that Joel Embiid was going to be healthy. If Joel Embiid's healthy, the Sixers are contenders. I was right. Joel Embiid not being able to play the whole season easily makes the 76ers not contenders. If you told me ahead of time, hey, Joel's not going to be healthy the whole season, how do you feel about the Sixers? I'd be like, they're going to fucking suck ass. What do you mean? So, yeah. Is it going to be Pacers Cavs? Yeah, that's what I'm getting wrong. I'm not getting the playoff picture correct. The Celtics, oh yeah, it's going to be Cavs Pacers. I'm dumb. It's going to be Celtics Knicks. Ooh. That's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. And if the Celtics are complaining about the physicality of the Orlando Magic, well, first of all, they better hope the Detroit Pistons don't come back and win the Knicks series. The Knicks aren't as physical as they used to be with Dante and Julius Randle, but the Knicks still play physical. And Celtics Knicks series, my goodness, that's going to be one for the ages, isn't it? Who am I even rooting for? I hate them both. How do I watch a series between the Knicks and the Celtics? Oh my God, I can't do it. I don't think I can watch it. I like to be able to pick a team to root for. It makes it more fun to watch. Ugh. I can't watch that. That's disgusting basketball. Knicks versus Celtics. Gross. Gross. Nah, I can't do it, man. I can't pick one. Knicks haven't beat either the Cavs or Celtics all season. That's interesting. That's an interesting part of that. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about those games last night. Lakers lost again. I didn't watch that one. I think that was a 10 o'clock one, and I was out at like 10:30. I may have watched the first couple minutes of it, but Lakers down 3-1. Anthony Edwards is becoming the face of the league, and I shouldn't have picked the Los Angeles Lakers to win that series. I underestimated the size and physicality of the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially with all the things I was saying about the Lakers all year, right? And I love the way that Anthony Edwards plays the game, and I love the approach that he takes, and he really gives me like 90s NBA player vibes, and I think he's great for the game. I think he's great for the league, and if Anthony Edwards leads that team to the NBA Finals, we're going to start to have some conversations about who is the face of the league, you know? Although lots of people already claim that it is Anthony Edwards. If he leads that team to the NBA Finals, I think it's pretty set in stone that Anthony Edwards is the face of the league. But, you know, you got to get through. Second round will probably be the Warriors for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You're going to have the Thunder versus either the Clippers or Nuggets. Should be the Clippers on paper, but Denver has pulled out some miraculous wins. Will they have enough to continue? We will see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, Damian Lillard is feared to have torn his Achilles. and the Bucks are done. And that sucks. Obviously, he had the blood clot issue and came back before anybody thought he was going to come back. And then he has what is feared to be a torn Achilles. This is what the Bucks, signed up for. You don't assume that somebody's going to tear his Achilles, but you traded Drew Holiday in his prime, who's an amazing defender and facilitator, and meant so much to the Bucks winning the 2021 NBA championship, for a guy who was always known to not play defense, put up a lot of points on a bad team for a long time, made you worse. The trade made you worse. That's what happened. And then you fired the coach, you fired the winning coach, then you fired the next coach, then you hired Doc Rivers, then you traded Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. The Bucks, this is just the nail in the coffin to the Milwaukee Bucks implosion, because Damian Lillard is 35 years old. He, if it's a torn Achilles, it's going to take him a season and a half to come back, which means a year, at least a year to come back. Damian Lillard's probably going to miss all of next season for the Milwaukee Bucks. And maybe Doc Rivers survives because maybe, he can say, well, Dame got injured and we had a new squad after the trade deadline. And so maybe Doc Rivers survives. I don't think firing Doc Rivers is going to fix anything for the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe Giannis asks for a trade. But definitely sucks that Dame had that injury. But man, Milwaukee Bucks fans, I feel your pain. After winning a championship just a couple of years ago, your franchise has completely imploded. I mean, we're talking Tower 7 level of coordinated detonation for the conspiracy theorists out there. Timberwolves up 3-1 against the Lakers is the perfect example of how we overvalue star power and underrate depth. Absolutely. But the Lakers didn't make the trade for this year. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason with LeBron James and the Lakers, because I think they need to move forward and start to build a team around Luka that involves a lot more size and defense. Before we get out of here, let's go sicko nation vibes and talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. Brian Windhorst on ESPN said something about Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse, and here's what he said. Even Brian Windhorst, I was mildly surprised that Morey and Nurse are returning. Even Brian Windhorst thought they were going to clean house. But I found out that ownership was on board and agreed with and endorsed and signed off with the moves that they made last year. Of course they were. Ownership has to be on board and has to sign off with the moves that you make. You know what I mean? This is why when people were like, they need to fire Daryl Morey, they need to fire Nick Nurse, and I agree. But the people keep saying it, or people that were assuming it's going to happen, right? If this doesn't work, Morey needs to be fired, right? Or if they don't make the playoffs, Morey needs to be fired. The owners signed off on this stuff. It's not like he did all this stuff and the owners are like, oh my God, that's a terrible decision, you're fired. No, they were like, yeah, it's a good decision. I'll sign the dotted line there. Yeah, signing Joel Embiid knowing he was injured is a great decision. You know what? Just sign him until 2029. When he's hurt right now in 2024, sign him until 2029. Yeah, fantastic decision. Which is why Daryl Morey has not been fired, which is why Nick Nurse has not been fired. And it's just another blunder by the 76ers ownership group, who's been blundering blunders since the beginning of time. Since they bought this team in 2011, they have just been making wrong move after wrong move after wrong move after wrong move. And instead of selling the team when they should have sold it, when it was worth something a couple years ago, they continue to drive it downward. And the nail in the coffin is a 5-year death sentence of Joel Embiid and Paul George dead contracts. You are locked in to max money for a guy that can't get back on the floor and another guy who doesn't give a shit and would rather be a podcaster. You are locked into max money until 2029. You're in a worse situation than basically everybody not named the Phoenix Suns. And they can trade Kevin Durant and get some picks back. So maybe you are. But yeah, ownership signed off on it. Of course they didn't get fired. Windhorse says the two big ones are obviously signing Paul George and extending Joel Embiid. So I think the ownership are giving Daryl Morey the grace that this was a terrible year in terms of injury and misfortune. But what I would say to both Daryl and Nick is you have no margin for error now. You didn't have margin of error last season. Now you have no margin of error? Well, chalk it up. You know? Send it in. It's a wrap. You really think Daryl Morey, who couldn't build a winning roster here, couldn't build a winning roster in Houston, didn't know basically anything about the NBA besides let me go get everybody that played for the Rockets in 2015. I mean, the guy fucking re-signed Daniel House for crying out loud. You know, the guy went and signed Montrezl Harrell. The guy went, like, come on, man, what are we talking about? The guy signed PJ Tucker after he was 1 foot in retirement. The guy keeps re-signing Kyle Lowry. This guy does not know how to build a basketball team, man. How do you go into 2025 and look at all the other basketball teams? Well, he doesn't look at all the other basketball teams. That's how. How do you see the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks and everybody else and how deep and physical they all are? How do you see all of those teams and say, give me Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Andre Drummond as a supporting cast, and we're going to go get it done. And you get absolutely smoked by everybody and start the season 3-15. Terrible roster construction. Terrible. So how's Daryl Morey going to go into this offseason and fix this whole thing to the point where they have to have an excellent year? You have no margin for error. If next year isn't an excellent year, I would say that they're the hottest seats in the NBA. How's next year going to be an excellent year? How, dude? This is like every New Year's Eve, the same person who keeps falling on their face saying, this year is my year. This year is my year. Except you know they're not going to change anything about their lifestyle, right? This person keeps getting in trouble, keeps going to jail, keeps getting whatever. This year is my year. Are you going to change something about your lifestyle? And they don't, because you know they're not going to, because they haven't for 20 years. That's what Daryl Morey is doing. He's not going to change. How's he going to? The Sixers are this way because this guy has been running teams like this since he was in Houston. So instead of firing the GM and bringing in somebody who thinks about the game and roster construction totally differently, you're going to expect the same fucking guy to do it differently? Shout out to Harris Moore that said, kind of hard being excited for next season. Exactly. This ownership group does everything 2 years too late. They're actually going to go into next season with Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse and expect the fan base to come back to the arena. And then when nobody shows up day one, they're going to say, all right, you guys are fired. It's just crazy. The whole thing is insane. And it's so hard to talk about the 76ers right now, which is why I've gravitated towards talking about the rest of the NBA, because I just don't care, dude. People send me stuff all the time. Did you see what so-and-so said? Did you see what this? The Sixers are having practice or preseason in Abu Dhabi. Fuck off, man. Stop talking to me about that. I don't care. Sixers have a preseason in Abu Dhabi. What? I'd rather watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians at this point than to talk about the 76ers, man. They suck. They're signed in bad contracts until 2029. They have one of the most fraudulent basketball players I've ever seen on the roster. Can't get rid of him. They have a dumbass coach. They have a dumbass GM. They have dumbass owners. What's there to talk about? What's there to look forward to? This is hereby a mainstream NBA news channel until the 76ers owners sell the team. I got to go to the gym. Thank you guys for tuning in. You are the best. I'll talk to you soon.